Good evening. Today is May 2nd, 2016. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. It is 7:33. Would you please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance?
Lord, we're meeting here tonight to conduct matters of business, guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Lorraine?
Here.
Shoemaker? Mathis?
Here.
Kruger's present. Kessler?
Here.
Gopal?
Here.
Tucker?
Present.
You have a full board.
Okay, to the members of the audience, this program is being televised. It's on 191, channel 191, Charter Communications. It will start on Thursday of this week. It starts at 8, 12, 4. Sometimes there's a school program on or whatever, but it goes on for 2 weeks. If the cameras are on all four corners, if you'd like to come up, you can come up, give your name. You do not have to give your address. All right. Approval of tonight's agenda. Is there any requested amendments to tonight's agenda? All right. I need a motion in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Expenditures. Included in the packet is your meeting minutes for April the 18th, regular meeting. Are there any corrections and revisions for the meeting minutes? If not, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Expenditures. Are there any questions regarding any of the expenditures that are in front of you?
The only thing I'll say is we didn't really pay $5,400 for the sheriff's telephone. That's a aggregated telephone bill. Mostly the pump station telephones is what that is. But
Why would that come up, Thomas?
it's just the way it always grabs the little last snippet.
It's wherever
Either
the
the first or last
item
one
is.
that's put in is the one that picks up for the summary report. But then the attached report breaks them all out.
9 times out of 10, if it looks funky and you go look at it,
Oh, yeah.
it's in the breakdown.
Absolutely. All right, a motion is in order to approve the expenditures totaling $166,633.29 for payment.
So moved. Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
I vote yes. Mathis?
Yes.
Kessler?
Yes.
Shoemaker?
Yes.
Gopal?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public hearing. This is for a rezoning of number R16-001. It's amendment to a PUD condition. Gables of North Shore, Kevin Keels, parcel 06-11-626-018. This is the first public hearing for the proposed zoning ordinance amendment to revise the PUD condition for the Gables of North Shore. If some of you do not know which is the Gables of North Shore, you drove by them when you came in. You pass the fire station, and I think there's 4 of them, the yellow, pink, blue, green, and then there's a vacant lot, and then it goes the next vacant lot on it. One of the current conditions states that all development must be completed within 3 years of the adoption of the previous amendment. That 3rd-year period has expired, so the conditions must be further revised to allow the final units to be constructed. The proposed amendment would require that all development be completed within 1 year of the effective date of this amendment. The Planning Commission has conducted a public hearing on this proposed amendment and has recommended approval. Treasurer Tucker sits on the Planning Commission. So, John, could you talk in regards to this? And please excuse my voice. It might go away before the evening's over with. It's allergies. It's terrible.
Well, I'm going to back the focus up a little bit before I get into this specific one. Some of you might be wondering why on earth we have deadlines in our PUD ordinances. And we probably have to back up 10, maybe 12 years ago. We had some litigation with some property, I think it was off from Ripley Road. And we got engaged in that, and our counsel in the litigation at that time said, look, you guys need to be putting deadlines in these, because it would have solved that particular issue with the litigation. So from that point forward, we've been attempting to put deadlines into the PUD ordinances. Well, since that happened, the real estate market hit the wall at 80 miles an hour, so a lot of them aren't being completed in the time that they were originally estimated because of circumstances beyond everybody's control. So this one, as Bonnie points out, is just down the road. We've done some moving around with that one already. That actually had a number of more units in it, and we reduced the units down to put the two that are right up on the water that have been constructed. These folks, I think, have the last buildable lot in the condo.
Correct.
So all we're really doing is giving them time to build. There's not really any downsides. The deadline that was in there was what was anticipated before the market crash. Honestly, if they don't make it in a year from now, we'll probably, we want them to build. We want them to connect to the sewer. We want them to do all of that. So that's really all the amendment is, but I thought the background might be useful. You might see more of this sort of thing down the road. And yeah, it was, I think it was unanimous. I don't remember if we had everybody there at the Planning Commission, but everybody was there, voted in favor.
Well, it's a nice looking development when you come into the township. And does it go with the same?
Yeah, one of the requirements in the
Same design.
PUD is that they follow that same theme. And I think that's part of what they're dealing with right now is what exactly that means. They've got association approvals that they have to get through in addition to township approvals. So they're juggling a couple different balls.
Are you talking like a larger garage?
We're looking to build a 2-story home with a 3-car garage.
Good.
And we're working with the other unit owners for approval, so we will have the same look and feel of the existing condos, same garage doors, same gables, gable brackets, that type of thing, so
It looks, yes.
levels. Yes.
Would you like to come and speak to the board, Christine, or
I can if the board has any.
is there any questions for Christine? It's just going to be nice to have that taken care of.
Well, now that I know it's Christine, there's got to be a lot of questions.
Fire away.
Yeah.
Payback track, I understand.
It's a great piece of property.
We're looking forward to getting everything settled.
Congratulations.
building and moving in, so.
The only thing that and I don't know if it goes down as far as what your property is, Christine, have they checked the soil and bored down into it? At one time, that area was clear as cabins, and there was a lot of wetlands.
Wetlands.
And they filled the wetlands with tires.
Oh, nice.
And the one gentleman that would be south of your property was told that he had to remove the tires, so they dug it up. And but I would check it. Have them check it just to see.
Yes, and we're working with Weir Building Company, so Chris is familiar with the area.
Chris,
and
yep.
I'm sure he will do that before we start building. But we had heard similar stories, and we heard that it had been pushed further south from the area.
That's
from
what
our piece of property as well.
Yes.
So, but testing would definitely be worthwhile.
See, even the Sailing Club Hill is nothing but tires. It's huge. So when they start digging out that hill, they're going to find a lot of tires. But that's what people did. They found a hollow someplace and
Well,
just dumped
that's
it.
coming, Bonnie, you know that.
What's that?
That development is up in front of the Planning
Oh, and
Commission
I've told them about
this
that.
month, yeah. Well, I think they're aware of it. They knew about it a long time ago. But
Yeah. Is there any other questions from the board members?
we don't vote for another 2 weeks. Just we
Public
talk about it
comment?
and then we ignore you. I don't, just kind of.
Thank you.
George?
Yeah, I just have a question. The ordinance, I believe, for the PUD is number 736, if I'm correct. I just want to be sure that...
George, come up here so we can get you on the tape, please.
Plus, it's been a long time since you've been here. We gotta get a current photograph.
Yes, well, George Dyball, and actually president of the Property Owners Association on Lake Fenton. But I just wanted to be sure, we were here back in 2011 when this was all amended the last time. And we had, I believe, the ordinance is 736, and there's like 17 bullets on it. I just want to be sure that all the other bullets are being maintained, specifically, I mean, the ones that were in place. And the only thing you're talking about is number 16, where you're going to allow an extension of 1 additional year for the building of building number 7. There'll be no changes to the number of dock slips, no changes to any of the other requirements within the PUD, correct?
100% correct.
Okay, that's great.
And on item 13, I checked into that as well. There was a requirement that they pay all the costs for sanitary system, sewer upgrades and all that. There was none of that.
Great.
So we were clear on that as well.
Great, okay, that's all I wanted to just verify for sure. Okay, thanks.
Christine, when Mr. Dybel said that, do you have dock space?
Yes, we currently have.
You're going to have
slip
dock
there
space.
now.
Good. Okay. Any other questions, gentlemen? No? All right. A public comment. Anyone else for public comment in regards to this? The second reading will be, proposed amendment will be on May 16th, Christine, and that's when we will vote on it.
Thank you.
Reports. Ordinance enforcement. His report, this is the first quarter. And I got it right here. The code enforcement officer, the quarterly is January, February, and March. The total amount of violations was 47. Some of those violations consist of blight, dog control, junk cars, littering, non-riparian, sewer, sight lines, soil erosion, water course, zoning, and miscellaneous. Then the ones that he's taken action on are definitely complaints. The investigations, letters sent, stop work orders was 2, and telephone calls. A total of action complaints was 376 into that first quarter. Is there any other board discussion in regards to our code enforcement officer? None? All right. Are there any other committee reports to be made? Communication. On May 21st, this brochure can go in the newspaper also, but this is your hazardous waste. And you're going to be able to drop off at Grand Blanc High School on the West Campus and East Flint, the Water Service Center. And this brochure tells you exactly what you can take and what you can't take. It's quite a bit that you can take. They have a thing here, number of cars, environmental report was also tires, electronic waste. So you could go up to our office and you'd be able to pick up this, or you can get it
It's on the website too.
on the website. All right. Adoption of an ordinance is none. Unfinished business. This is for the selection of the township township attorney. Yeah. So I didn't say it all the way though. We had the applications, and the applications was a total of 7. And it was Mr. Krug, Mr. Tucker, and myself that interviewed these candidates. It was a hard thing to do because they were all qualified. We brought it down to 3. We had, about 3 or 4 meetings to decide. And so the person that, after this discussion, the candidate, we recommend to the Township Board, Jack Belzer, who happens to be in the audience, to take the position of Township Attorney. And the sad thing, though, this is nice that you're going to be our attorney if they vote you in. but it's the loss of Mr. Cooley. That is not good. He's been with us how many years? 45 years. He has seen many, many boards, that's for sure. Would you like to stand up, Jack? Well, we got to vote on it first. Yeah, I better not ask him.
Standing up or?
Yeah, no, I definitely have to vote on it. So it's a recommendation of Mr. Krug, Mr. Tucker, and myself to the board for Jack Belzer. Okay? Do I have a motion?
Second.
Any further discussion?
I would like to thank Mr. Cooley for his 45 years of service. It's been a pleasure sitting next to you, sir. You're going to be missed.
He is going to be missed a lot. Any other?
And Belzer, we can just forget about him. Don't care about him.
All right, any other further discussion? Roll call, please.
Shoemaker. Yes. Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Somebody's got to vote no.
Don't do that.
Don't you dare.
Don't I dare.
No.
Okay,
We got to vote on
let's
his.
make it unanimous.
Don't we have to vote on Dick leaving? No, that's where we can.
We've already tried that.
No, we tried that trick.
Yeah.
So
We voted against it.
We
Is that
have
legal,
not
Jack? Can we make him
determined an active date, have we?
As long as there's two.
Next board meeting?
We're good.
As our vote.
Yes.
He's aboard as our vote.
So our meetings are every other Monday, first and third, Jack, at 7:30.
So this is effect after this meeting's over?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. And this, okay, would you like to just stand and introduce yourself to the board?
Go over there?
Yeah, you might as well.
Okay, so my name's Jack Belcher, and thanks very much for all the board members. So I've been a lawyer almost as long as Mr. Cooley has been the township attorney. I have like 43 years in. But yeah, I mean, I've done tons of governmental work, as the selection committee knows. And at the current time, I'm also still the attorney for Mundy Township, and I've been there for like, I don't know, 25 years or so. And over the course of time, I've done other municipal work and filled in for conflicts with other attorneys when they had board members that were subject to certain things or had an issue. And you know, like I'm always at my office, like a lot of times till like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I always answer the phone.
That's good.
And when I'm not at the office or at court, I'm at Genesis at the gym. And really, thanks very much. I'm looking forward to this. It's quite an honor, and thank you.
It was a hard one to make a selection.
Oh, there were some very good attorneys,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, really good attorneys, but we're very
I
happy.
already told Jack this, but what really kind of made this spin is that, well, all of them were good. We would have not made a bad
No,
decision.
no.
But there were a lot of people from the community in places and positions that we would respect that have stepped forward and said nice things about Mr. Belzer. I called him to tell him that because I would want to know that.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate
He had a lot of people that aren't sitting at this table
A lot,
Um,
a lot.
express their opinion. Now, there's a lot of people at the table. You know, I've known him for forever. He's owned Mundy Township for as long as I've known him. So, you know, I knew it would be a great fit. But it's nice, I think, for people outside the legal community to step forward and say nice things about you, and that's what they did. And that's what got you
Thanks,
here.
I
tonight.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Okay,
Only thing I could say is, Jack, the board did their job. Mr. Tucker called me. I'm sure he called everybody on the board. So it was, they did a great job. It wasn't just 3 people making the decision. So it was, and making a recommendation. They did their due diligence and did what was right. So
Thanks.
well
Thank
deserved.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, we'll see you In 2 weeks then, or sooner, well, definitely.
What was that?
Or sooner. Gopal's down in his phone. It's like,
What did Gopal do?
no, he asked me to call him, that's why he got a call.
I'm getting on go.
All right, new business. This is the hiring to fill the part-time position in assessing. You all have the letter from the assessor, Julie Wilson. Dear Township Board, Chair people, and members, as the Township Assessor, I recommend that the position for part-time secretarial receptionist be filled by Dawn Collins. Dawn is currently the temporary employee that was hired while we determine how to fill the void with the retirement of Julie Ozinski. Having worked for the past few months with Ms. Collins as a temporary employee, I strongly encourage the Township Board to approve the hiring of this position. During this time, Dawn has worked very diligently in handling all the tasks that she is responsible for and has done an excellent job. It is not often that you are able to fill a part-time position with such a qualified employee. Ms. Collins meets all the requirements of the posting for the position and also brings years of experience as secretary receptionist with her, as she has been previously employed by Mundy Township for 20 years. And this is the recommendation of our assessor. Do I have any board discussion at all in regards to this? If not, oh, I'm sorry.
I would like to hear your assessment and Tom's, since you were worked with her briefly.
You want to go ahead, I can honestly say, I have worked with her on a daily basis. I have worked with her on the Board of Review, and I will go into assessing usually about once every 2 days to just double check. She's wonderful with the residents. She goes out of her way for them, and she is knowledgeable. If the assessor is out on the road, she can take those phone calls. She can answer the questions. So yes, I'm very happy with her.
Yeah, I would agree. She's been a real good fit as a temp. Very professional, a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and a nice fit with the staff. Just a real pleasant personality in the office, and nothing bad to say at all.
Thank you.
All right, I need a motion to approve the hiring of Dawn Collins for the part-time position as assessing assistant as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mathis,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
I vote yes. Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Okay.
Passes.
Appointment to the Fenton Township Planning Commission. This is another great man. His name is David Seifer, and his commission has expired on May 1st. He has done a good job on the Planning Commission, and he expresses to be reappointed. I am recommending that we reappoint him for a 3-year term. Do I have any board discussion? No? All right.
You all probably don't know him. He sat on the planning commission in, I think it was Tyrone Township.
Tyrone
It was
Township.
one of the Livingston County ones. So he came to the planning commission, hit the ground running. You know, he's asking good questions. He comes prepared. He was a good addition to the planning commission. I can't believe it's been
3 years?
3 years.
Well,
he
filled an
vacancy.
expired term, so he hasn't been on 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe, what, a year and a half?
No.
No.
Place him.
Sandra?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah. That's
I
about
would
a
guess
year and a half.
yeah.
Yep.
Something like that.
All right, any other board discussion in regards to it? I need a motion to reappoint David A. Seifer to the Fenton Township Planning Commission for the term ending May 31st, 2019. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
I vote yes. Shoemaker.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Board comments. Are there any other comments from the board members? The only one I have is, what about the blazer? Are we doing, do we have any luck in?
The Tahoe?
I mean, the Tahoe.
It is listed on Municipid. We had, last I checked, we had 2 bids. It's at 2,000. We put a $5,000 reserve on it, so it's up there for it'll be up for a whole month, so we got another 3 weeks to go.
Okay. Okay. That's the white Blazer outside of the fire hall that you see. That is up for sale. And it, like Mr. Broecker said, it's being bid out. How many miles? There's not many miles.
92,000.
And how old is it?
2003.
2003 with 90, but hard miles, you know, fast. Some. All right. I will open it. Oh, Mr. Crew.
Just wanted to mention, if you haven't seen them, tomorrow night here from 5 to 8, there's a fundraising pancake supper.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday, I'm sorry. Well, I'm being night early. Wednesday, and it's in response for the fire department, and they're going to use the monies for carbon monoxide education of schools, people, and it was in response to the loss of that family. Yep.
6 o'clock here.
It actually is 3
5
to.
to 8.
I thought I had put down 3 to 9.
It's 5 to 8.
5 to. Oh boy, we're really.
Apparently you're cooking,
Yeah.
Bonnie.
Yeah. But that would really help, and the hall down here will be opened, and so you're welcome to come. Is there any other? Yes.
I would like to schedule a workshop to discuss Mr. Broecker's compensation package.
Okay.
Put off for quite a while now.
Good.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen, do you have a calendar? Now I know, John, it's golf season. Kessler, golf season.
No Wednesdays.
Wednesday, what is yours?
Mondays.
Oh, Mondays.
Yeah.
Every Monday?
I just can't come early for a meeting. It's every Monday.
Okay, so we
So-
could do it. Well,
I could do it afterwards, or I could do it I can't do Wednesdays either, so.
Oh, you
But
wanted
Tuesdays,
to
Thursdays.
workshop on a couple of things.
Yeah, we do. We've got actually a list of things that
we need a workshop. We actually need 2 workshops because I don't want to rush some of the topics. How about, is Tuesday nights good? Now, we have planning, or
The
no,
only
we have
one
zoning.
would be a conflict is the 4th Tuesday. That's when he had ZBA. Other than that,
Okay. Are you all looking at your calendars?
Yep.
Yep.
What day are we looking?
Let's try a Tuesday. Let's try maybe,
24th is the 4th one. Bob couldn't do that.
yeah,
Third one?
17th?
Tuesday the 3rd would be what date?
17th we're looking at.
17.
I won't be able to do that.
You're not going to be here at that?
Okay.
How about, what, the 10th? Which would, you work?
There's another one on
31st?
31st, which is after Memorial
That's Memorial Weekend, isn't it?
Weekend, yeah.
They don't want to
Well,
workshop.
it's Tuesday.
I'll be out of town.
Yeah.
June
What's
7th.
Thursdays look like? Mark, do
Thursdays
you
are
work
great.
Thursdays?
Thursdays are good.
Thursdays are good.
I got-
What's Thursday?
I just have to work around Plan Commission, which is the 12th. How about the 19th?
Your work,
26th?
your work.
So June 7th is a Tuesday night. Anybody?
So they said the 19th is not good?
19th's good.
Oh,
Kessler?
I thought somebody
What's
said
that?
they had.
Are you okay on the
Mark.
19th?
Mark's
can't.
got to work.
Mark camp?
Yeah.
Tuesday, June 7th.
Tuesday, June.
I can do the 7th of June.
June 7th.
Are you good, Sean?
How
What
about,
time?
On time, I can do whatever, so we
you
should
want
probably
to
start
do
like
7, 6:30?
6.
Yeah.
Is earlier, is that
Can-
for anybody?
Can you do that, Mark?
Yeah.
6, okay.
o'clock?
Why don't we say, is the 7th a Monday?
Tuesday.
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 A Tuesday, the 7th at 6 o'clock. Okay, that's a workshop. All right, now I will open up for public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. David Holcock. Would you like to come up, Dave?
Oh, the snowbirds are in season.
What time?
Terry brings it.
On the 7th?
6.
Did you say 6?
6 p.m. 6.
He asked me to make it.
Okay. It's good to see you back, David.
Thank you. Dave Hawcroft. The first thing I'd like to say is your PA system here is not working very good tonight. I can hear you, and I can hear Mr. Tucker,
You can hear me?
and I'm a little bit hard of hearing. And Mr. Lorraine, I was able to hear him also, but the rest of them were quite muted. So when you talk about board discussion, maybe it's none of my business, but if it was, I couldn't have heard it anyway.
Okay, well, I'm glad you don't. I scraped mine, but I wasn't getting anything on it, microphone.
Now after that, you know I've been out of the loop here for a few months, but I do have a few questions. And I'm glad the program is televised because I think what I have to say might be good to be made aware of more than just the 25 or 30 people that are here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
First off, we've heard about the water system in Flint here for months. TV, radio, newspapers, and it's very, very unfortunate. And I think everyone's aware that there is a new line coming from Port Huron over to Flint. My question at this point is, anyone here know how far that line has advanced at this point?
Genesee County right now is predicting like June or July, bringing it in. Now, I noticed on television, they said Flint would be able to hook up to it. Flint would not be available till November. Now, this is what was at one of our meetings, but that can change daily.
So I would guess maybe when you're talking June or July, that's only a couple of months.
They're doing
So
pretty
I'm
good.
assuming that the construction is probably over this side of Davison by now. Is that possible?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's just entering Genesee County.
It's
from
gone
the
through.
east.
It's gone through Lapeer. Drain Commission has had some problems with the Road Commission in Lapeer, and I think all that has been solved. But otherwise, you just really, it depends on weather, in regards to it. But I was at a meeting and I did write down those dates.
Well, that's just a point of interest or curiosity. I worked construction for many years, and that's a big line, and it just doesn't happen overnight.
No.
And the mess they've got now, heaven forbid they'd have any problems, but to rush it through and not get it right would be horrible. Okay, so much for that. Does anyone know what you can tell me about the Torrey Beach Trailer Park? I understand there was a meeting here not too long ago, but I believe that was the night I got home and I had jet lag and I just wasn't up to it because I'm a bit outspoken and I might still be there.
In the audience, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you from Troy? Six residents from Eastview, and they're going to talk about it tonight also, Dave.
Okay, well,
But just
Mark
to
is-
answer your question, Tony Brown, Joe Graves,
Horn.
Ken Horn, all came to a meeting at a couple of these folks' house, so they were able to hear the concerns at that point, and there was a pretty good group, I don't know, 30? Somewhere in that neighborhood. pretty good group of folks that showed up and voiced their concerns. At the end of the meeting, those gentlemen and myself walked through the mobile home park. They had, the word was out that we were coming because it was all shined up and picked up, and it looked as good as it's looked. I think Bob's quote was, in 15 years, I think it hasn't looked this good. So, I mean, that's a good thing, but that's one day, and you know, these guys have a long-term program that they want to get on, not just a single day program. But
well, I would hope so, because it's been a, what should I say, slumlord president residing in Birmingham or whatever for probably 25 or 30 years. And I know Mark, for instance, myself, for instance, and a few other old settlers around here have heard the BS and the song and dance for a long time. But I realize everyone can't live in a $500,000 condominium on a lake. I understand this. You can be poor, but you don't have to do what's been going on over there. And it's not just rumors. I don't live there close, but I do talk with people that have had close relations with it. And it's not right. And I know that some of the old condemned trailers were taken out, but when you got 50 to 60 trailers, and every 3 or 4 or 5 years you condemn 2 or 3, it takes a long time to get rid of the blight. And I think it's time that the blight was gotten rid of. And I will be very interested in what other people may have to say.
All right.
Any
Any
corrections, additions, or information on that?
Well, my impression is similar to yours, Dave. To me, when I walked through, I was frankly surprised that some of them were deemed to be habitable, because there's a lot of them, not all of them, but there's a lot of them that I wouldn't think would pass the inspections that you need to be habitable. There's some really old trailers in that park, and there's a few real nice ones, and like I said, it was all picked up. But you know, we heard stories of coming out to work on utilities, and a hole goes through the floor, and it's all black mold, and you know, we've heard things of that nature that I would think, you know, there's an age where these things are just going to get where they're just not going to be habitable anymore, and these things, a lot of them are very close to that age, in my opinion.
Well, I gotta say, my sympathies lie with the residents there for some of the reasons that I stated. But the gripe I have is against the landlords. They've been making very good money. They've been off-site. They've been contacted on numerous occasions through the years. And it has just been clean it up like you folks had a walk-through inspection. And in 6 months, you're right back playing the same old game again.
In the beginning of, well, now we're into May, we will be, I'm going to say in the month of May, have a walkthrough with the building inspector, code enforcement officer, the fire chief, and then we bring in a police officer.
Through the trailers?
Pardon me?
Through the trailers you're going?
They go into the building inspector, he does, because then we do the fire inspections and that, yes. Yep.
Okay, I'll rest my case on that.
We'll
That's
finish
better.
And then I'll let everybody talk. Do you
I'll
have
rest
anything
my
else,
case.
David?
I've heard, like I say, a lot of cock and bull stories for 25 to 30 years, so this is much better than I've heard for a long time. I've got another one here. Is anybody here on the board familiar with, or are they qualified to speak as an architectural engineer or a structural engineer?
Not on this board, no.
Okay. That answers that. So for public television's sake, I wish this was the Fenton board right now instead of the township. And like us all, I'm a township resident, as you folks are, but I was in to the new bridge that is going across Silver Lake Road in by the bank in Fenton on Silver Lake Road, the Shiawassee River. And I looked at it and I saw what was what. And as I say, I am not a qualified engineer. I am not a past bridge builder. But I have worked construction all my life, and I was a millwright for 25 years. And I looked at it, and I just looked at it. I bit my tongue, and I was going to walk away. And I looked at it some more, so then I did walk away. Well, I talked with several fellas over a period of a month that have been bridge builders, that have worked construction for years. And I don't see where or how they intend to put some steel beams across there. And at this point, the way I see it, they've cut a fat hog, they put the big tube down in the hole, they've poured some concrete, they've diverted the water. However, that tube is nothing more than a metal tube like you have across your driveway on steroids.
Did I hear him say steer?
If they don't put any steel beams through across there, I can't understand it, because that tube comes up within probably in the neighborhood of a foot or a foot and a half to the road surface. And if their thought is of just backfilling it with sand and tamping it down and then running rewire and concrete across the top, how they figure it's going to last. My theory would be we have these what they call 1,000-year rains, which we seem to have every 2 or 3 years. And that river coming down through there doesn't have a real dam. What it has is down by the what used to be the fire hall, the police station, and it's no more than a spillway dam. So what water comes is going to keep right on coming boiling down through there. And there's nobody in this room, engineer or not, that can tell me that the pressure within that tube is going to stay the same when it's going through where low water is right now and what high water would be when that river raises a foot or 2 or 3 or 4 feet. Now, if they figure the structural engineers at this point say, well, we don't need beams, we're just going to compact that sand and we put the concrete over it and be just fine. Well, let's go one step further. They've done that. Are you going to tell me when that bridge is completed that we aren't going to have frosts, hard winters anymore? Did you ever see a road that didn't crack up in the spring when the pressures change? Do you think for a minute with that bridge they're just going to have cars like yours and mine driving across it? If one vehicle is going east, cement truck for example, that's a heavy load. Another one's going west, a truckload of steel, or a garbage truck. That's another example of a heavy vehicle. And the two of them are going across there at the same time, which isn't unreasonable. It could happen 3 or 4 times a day. That's going to hold up to that. Then, if you want to go into it a little bit further, the frost on our roads, the way they heave, the way they buckle, it's fine today. But what about that big rain that I talked about that comes through? Next winter, we have a severe winter. It frosts, the frost goes down 4 or 5 feet. Anybody that's been around knows that traffic drives frost down further. You go down by the expressway out here, any place, and you dig down in the middle of February, January, and the frost could be down 5, 6 feet real easy. 50 yards away out in the farmer's field, it might not be down 2 feet. Okay, they're in a rush to get it done. Looks nice. Well, my point is, it's expensive. It's inconvenient. If they don't have time to do it right the first time, how do they have time to do it again? It's fine now. 5 years from now, it settles a little bit. You have some of that high water. You have 2 or 3 severe winters. You're going to be tearing it up again. It costs a ton of money, and it's inconvenient in between. And you know the next time it's going to be higher than it is this time.
You know, Dave, your comments, yes, are good in that. I don't have the knowledge on that at all with the city of Fenton. I don't think the board does either in regards to that. But you really should go to the city of Fenton and express your feelings in regards
Well, as I said earlier, I'm sorry that I wasn't at their meeting. I was hoping there would be someone here that'd be qualified that could put me in my place, but apparently not.
No, you don't have to be put in your place. But honestly, it doesn't. If they had a meeting and you missed it, I still would take those concerns and question it.
I just cannot believe that they'd let it get by. Not what I know about physics, and I'm not a rocket scientist.
Okay, thank you, David.
Okay, that's enough for that. I'm not done yet. Bonnie, have you driven down Panema Drive in the last couple months?
Not Panema, no.
I know you're a very busy lady, but if sometime you could crowd in 15 minutes and just drive down Panema Drive and look at all the beautiful scenery and drive back and admire that wonderful road.
All right, I can guarantee you I'll do that, but we'll also ask all the board members that sit at this table to do the same. Dave, we will do it. We will drive down. Are you talking in the area that they've always had water in that low spot?
It's the low spot, but it's not a fact of water because over a period of time I brought, I don't know how many pictures that I took that showed it to be flooded across there for at least 6 homeowners width, and they're 50-foot lots, so that's 100 yards. And I took it looking down it from the west, and I took it looking down it from the east, and eventually our great county finally got around to putting in some ditches somehow. I don't know. Hopefully maybe you at the meeting got to the right people.
Yeah, we did the ditches.
And it has been much better. But you can't put something like that in there, which is basically built over a swamp, without a good road bed. And they put the ditches in, but that was too little too late. The road is shot.
Tom, do you ever do assessing on something like that road?
We could do a special assessment. We had an estimate, I think, a year or two ago, but there was no, it didn't go any further, and no, there was no petitions drawn.
Did you hear that, David? Did you hear Mr. Broecker? Okay, you want to talk louder?
The way to improve Panema Drive would be under a special assessment district. It's a residential street, and that would be the way to get a project done to resurface the road.
No, Tom, we've been through this before. Here a few years ago, they went all down through it, and they were gonna take a survey of all the people and go for a whole mile. And they were gonna put in curbs and gutters, and they were gonna take out about 28, I think it was, trees. And it was gonna cost you and Bonnie and Mr. Cooley and myself and every other resident on that street approximately $8,000. If you've got a cut on your hand, you do not put your whole body in a cast. There's about 100 yards in there that is bad. It's been bad. There's been patches on top of patches on top of patches on top of patches. And it's still bad. It's been bad for 20 years, and they just keep putting Band-Aids on heart surgery, and it don't work. It needs to be repaired properly, not just a half a dozen spoons full of hot patch. Well, your favorite hemorrhoid is back, and I've spoken. Thank you.
It's good to see you back, David.
Welcome back, Dave.
Yeah. Is there anyone else in the audience with public comment?
My name is Annette, and I'm here to talk about the trailer park on Eastview Drive. I was really going to kind of poke at you guys tonight, but I heard some comments that made me very happy. I think Mr. Tucker, it was nice to hear that you walked through the trailer park and saw what we see every day when we go home. Bob, I want to thank you. I know you have been involved in helping us try to figure out how to solve this problem here. My question is, you are doing inspections in May, Bonnie, did you say?
It depends on the weather, yes. Usually May, April, no, not April, May and June. We do it yearly.
When they do those inspections, do they do inspections on occupied trailers or empty trailers?
If they're empty, they usually are barricaded. Very seldom are they
So do they inspect the empty or the occupied trailers?
occupied.
Okay. And when they do that, what are they looking for when they go in and do those inspections?
You'd have to ask the building inspector and the fire chief.
And they are...
They're looking for whatever is code, basically.
Okay. So how do we get this problem resolved? I'm new to the community, and I can tell you that I've heard out in the community that this has been going on for 50 years.
Yes.
That it's a problem for 50 years. Those homes are homes that people should not be living in. The floors are out of them, there's mold in them. You can't tell me that that can pass an inspection, that that's a safe living condition.
Now, I didn't, but now Mr. Tucker and Mr. Crew was at your meeting. Representative Graves was there, and Senator Horn was there. I don't know what they said.
I've been in contact with them and with Tony as well.
Tony Brown was there also.
Yes, he was. And he's willing to help out as well, which is nice to hear. But I think that the township is elected to represent the community, so we have concerns about that, and I feel that you guys need to help us address this situation and take care of it once and for all. No more sliding it under the rug. We need to deal with it.
Annette, it's not slidden under the rug.
Obviously it has. It hasn't been addressed for 20, 30 years.
I will invite you to come in and see the files on Eastview. Now, I agree, it's an eyesore, no doubt about it. I agree that there is things wrong with it that has to be taken care of. Mr. Joe Graves talked about it, and he said, we can only do so much, and he wrote a letter, and so did Senator Horn. There's stuff that's done in there that you people don't see on the inside. When everybody said it was so clean, our code enforcement officer, Tom Hosey, goes there quite often and has things taken care of. I'm gonna lose my voice. Anyway, the last meeting, we talked about the boat, the snowmobile, the pontoons,
They're
the
still sitting there.
dumpster. I made a call to the owner, talked to him, snowmobile will be moved. Mr. Hosey was not in the office at that time for a few days, so that report goes to him. I talked to Sam about enclosing the dumpster. I talked to a gentleman at church on Sunday who does this, told him to contact me today so we can get the dumpsters covered. I don't know, I saw in the picture and I see two. I don't know, I have to check to see if the location is right where that dumpster is. To me, I got to check with the road commission to find out if that's the right-of-way, if that dumpster is sitting on the right-of-way. So that has been in the process a long time with Sam. Now, yes, a long time. I talked to him about the pontoons. The pontoon boats are the people that are down in the front by the water, and they have the right to store it there, their pontoons, and they're all wrapped. I wouldn't be surprised that there is some other people that are storing, lake people that are storing their pontoons there. But we are checking that out, and that was Mr. Hosey. You talked about a pop-up trailer. We got that removed. Mr. Garfield called me, I don't know what day it was, I think it was on a Friday, said another one has gone in its place from the time we had the meeting. I went out. I actually, it was after working hours. I went out with my husband. Excuse me, sure enough, it looked like another pop-up trailer, but it wasn't. And I called Mr. Garfield back and told him, and I told him that we had been there, and it was mattresses. So now Mr. Hosey has called the owner of the property. He's going to be refencing it, and he will be cleaning up those mattresses. We're going to try to get him not to have the huge opening that they can drive in and out to that vacant land. So it isn't that it's not being done, it's being done in that. But you're welcome to come in and we'll show you every file we have on it.
I would love to look at those files, Bonnie. I also want you to be aware that people have been saying, what about these people and their homes? Those places, those trailers are not homes. They're such poor living conditions that, and there's programs out there that I am aware of that I could help the township find new places for those people to live, better living conditions, vouchers that help those people, to live in a nicer community. There's VA benefits. There's all kinds of programs to help those people. Those living conditions, no one should be living in those homes the way they are. No one. And they certainly shouldn't be passing inspections. I have city inspections all the time on my apartments. And there's no way that those trailers would pass inspections.
I'm sorry.
I've also mentioned that would be something for the township to bring on. When I left up north, the township was starting inspections on all rental units in the township. They charged the renters or the landlords certain fees.
I'm listening to you. I'm
They
sorry.
charge the landlord certain fees that they have to pay the township, so it pays for the person that's going around and checking these rental units, and it's making sure that there aren't slumlords in the community. So, I mean, it's an option or a thought that, I would be willing to help the board implement. But there definitely needs to be something done with the living conditions down there. They're very poor, very unsafe, and very unsanitary.
All right, you want to mention it, Mr. Crew?
Well, I just was going to let Bonnie say it. We talked about it, and I think everybody agrees. I will set up a meeting with the appropriate agencies. I'm thinking the health department, community development, the sheriff, and I'm not sure who else would be, but I'll set one up and we'll use it not to complain or that, but to provide information to those residents, such you're talking about a net.
I think that'd be a great idea, Bob.
I don't know if they'll take advantage of it, but at least we can try.
It's worth it, yeah. I mean, why not try something different? There's obviously those people are living there, some of them not by choice, some of them by choice, but those trailers are very unsafe. You know what, I'd hate to see something happen down there, a big fire or something like that, and the township be aware of it and not, you know, because we brought concerns to you and not address it and have a nice lawsuit against you. You know, people are sue happy these days, just saying. You know, it's something that needs to be addressed.
Annette, before you leave, will you give me your phone number?
Absolutely.
And I'll contact you.
Okay.
And we'll get with Mr. Hosey and we'll bring you in and show you
Okay.
everything that we possibly can show you.
All right. Well, thank you, and I appreciate you guys, you know, the people that have picked up and tried to do some things. And I hope that we can continue and get this resolved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hall, is there anyone else in the audience here? Mr. Hallcroft, just 1 second. Let me let this gentleman.
My name's Gary Heafy, and I'm here to really, two things concerning the trailer park. One is to agree with Annette, and I live much closer to the park than she does. We're next door neighbors, so I feel it every day, and I've been there for 8 years, and I would certainly appreciate the township's help in correcting this situation. But concerning the trailer park, I have one other question. There is an easement that is between the trailer park and the house that the trailer park owns and rents. And that easement has been a access lot for back lot owners. I understand it's part of the deed of the lot owners. But the trailer park has placed a cable or a chain across the area so that it cannot be used by residents that have a legal right, from what I understand, to use that. And it's my concern that after a period of time, if the world sees it as the trailer park's property, it becomes the trailer park's property. And it has an impact on the back lot value from my standpoint. And as a back lot owner, I'd like to make sure that if there is the right to that lake access there, that we maintain it for the rightful owners.
Gary, the one that you're talking about, there's the park and then the house, like you said, goes down a hill. And then there is where that is the easement. But now you're saying back owners. There's also an easement that's down farther on Eastview that there's been feuding in regards to that. In the township, and the board members can go along with me, we have a thing called keyholing, and we do not allow back lot people to use an easement to get to the lake. So we'd have to check it out with the attorney. I'd have to check it out with the assessor to have her. Now, our assessor really knows a tremendous amount in regards to that easement. Her and I was talking about it, but I'll get some answers for you from her.
Okay, I'd appreciate it.
Because she's the one that'll be able to tell us on the easement. But besides one, there is other ones, and we're very knowledgeable about it, the different easements, and we'll be looking into them also then.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is there anyone else? David, you want to mention one more thing?
Yeah, I don't think I need to go back up to the podium.
Okay, Dave.
But in regards to what this lady said, heaven forbid there should be a fire or whatever. I think you can well remember, I know I can, Mark can remember, I'm sure,
probably in the neighborhood of 10, possibly as many as 15 years ago. They did have a serious fire in there, and it was not just a birthday cake that blew over. It was an honest to goodness fire. Thank God it didn't spread. But you know that we do have wind. And if they got a decent wind, the way that fire was going that day, it would have taken out a half a dozen trailers. So the lady has a very real concern, and it has happened. And I don't know if he's in the audience here. I wish he was. But my fault is with the slum landlord. He doesn't live around here. He's not affected by it. He's charging money every single month from every single owner there, and he's running a business just like any one of 100 other businessmen would, and he's letting it go. And I've complained, other people have complained. I'm sure you've contacted the fella down in Birmingham, Royal Oak, Wyandotte, wherever the heck it is.
I have no idea where he lives, but I do call him, yes.
Yeah.
And I give him
My understanding
deadlines.
was that he's definitely not local.
He's not local, no, he doesn't live in the area.
All right. Why can't or hasn't he been held accountable?
I'm going to turn you over to Mr. Cooley, and then to Mr. Krug and Mr. Tucker, because they were at the meeting with the state rep and also Senator Horn. Mr. Cooley.
Dave, we agree this has been an ongoing problem for many years, and the sheriff's department will tell you. Can you hear me okay?
No.
No, that's why I'm moving up.
Okay. The sheriff's department will tell you that is the primary eyesore and trouble point in the township that they have to patrol. Everything that's been said about it is true, correct, and we have done everything we possibly can. We will continue to find any violation that we can prosecute. We're for you. We're for these folks, and we think it's great that they have done what they're doing and that they keep the pressure on. That's not a bad idea at all. And it'll produce some results. These things take time because the businessmen and the property owners and the residents have some rights too. We have to be careful as we go along. But we're working on it. We have continued to work on it.
Well, you mentioned that it was an eyesore for Mark, and Mark is well familiar with that area. I don't know if he's been called there personally when he was on duty, but friends of his have for years and years and years. And anything that gets involved with the police department on multiple calls in the same area, I just cannot understand how it has dragged and dragged and dragged. I know you folks are working on it, but I can't believe that the God Almighty Greenback is that big when the guy doesn't live there and he can't or won't be held accountable, that we should have to live with it.
We are doing everything, anything these folks who are in the area can do, we appreciate it. Just let us know anytime you think you see a violation. We'll do our best to get it taken care of.
Are you set, David? Are you all set in regards to that, or do you?
No, I'll probably cool down about this time tomorrow night. My blood pressure's up a little bit. You struck a nerve.
Okay.
All of us have a nerve stroke.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Garfield.
Okay, one quick thing. I have a conflict in my brain. We talked to Tom Hosey. He said when you guys do inspections in the park.
I can't hear you either.
Tom said when
There you
you
go.
do inspections in the park, you cannot go in occupied trailers. You can only inspect the ones that are unoccupied.
Say
And
that again now. You
Tom
can-
said when you do your inspection, you cannot inspect mobile homes in that park that are occupied. If somebody
If the
lives in
person-
them,
If we ask them and the person allows us, absolutely, yes. Fire
He's-
chief and building inspector has gone in.
he said he can only inspect the unoccupied ones. But you said you can't inspect the unoccupied ones, only the
Normally,
occupied ones.
Unoccupied is one that is boarded up, the sewer has been sealed, so they cannot put people in it. So we've
You mean
already-
because it's a condemned unit?
Normally, that's what it is.
Okay,
When
well-
it's boarded up, it's condemned.
Well, the mobile home ordinance says that the owner has 30 days to remove that, and that would help eliminate some of the fire
As
hazard.
of right now, all the ones that we condemned last year have been taken care of. Now, if they go in, you are right, if they go in, let's say this month of May, and find condemned, we have to notify the owner. He has the right to bring it up to code, and if he can't bring it up to code, we have them taken down. Can't have them removed, because there's no way of getting them out of there. They have to be disassembled.
Well, that's removal.
Well,
If
yeah,
you did-
but I'm saying, okay, yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Garfield, you're totally right, yes.
So when you go in and inspect them, he has 100% occupancy. If there are none that are not lived in right now, to the best of your knowledge.
Oh, I have no idea.
So if there's some there that nobody lives in, do you inspect those?
Usually they're in bad condition, windows are broken out, everything, yes, they are inspected for the safety and health of the people in the area.
And the rest of them, you knock on the door and ask people if you can inspect them. And
If
if
a
they
person
say,
lets you in their house, where the fire chief can go in, so can the building inspector, if they allow it, yes.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it does. I mean, a person can welcome you. It's just like the assessor. The assessor just can't go in your home. She has to ask permission to go into your home.
So if you implemented these rental unit inspections, that's the way you can get in there and inspect those units. That's the way you can get in there
That's
and inspect
absolutely
those
correct.
trailers to make sure they're livable.
Yes.
Plus, Mr. Hosey told us out of his own lips that he has never been in any occupied trailer in that park.
He hasn't. Mr. Hosey has only worked for us a year, 1 year. And I don't even think is it a full year?
No.
It's not even a full year yet. So Mr. Hosey hasn't. Bob Atkinson certainly had.
So
And
what-
Annette, I'm going to be able to show you this.
What is Mr. Hosey's role? I'm sorry, I'm new in the community.
He's the code enforcement officer.
Okay, so you're telling me that when you guys go and do the inspections, like you gave them an inspection and they passed it in October, you're telling me that Mr. Hosey didn't go in with them and do those inspections?
Mr. Hosey has only been an employee less than a year.
But he wasn't here in October then?
Yes,
when
he
they
was.
did
It would have
the
been Bob
inspections?
Atkinson.
No, he was here then because he told me he was. He told me,
I'd have to check Annette. Tom, do you know when he was hired and when?
Tom's been here since March of last year, but just to clarify, he's ordinance enforcement, not building code enforcement.
Okay, so when they did the inspection in October, who did the inspections?
he
I'm
did.
assuming it was the building inspector and the fire chief.
Fire chief,
wasn't
building
there, I don't know.
inspector.
He told me he did. He said he was there also with you,
He
Bonnie.
might have walked. I'd have to check. I'll check and then I'll give you that information.
Okay, is there a way I can obtain a copy of that inspection that they did in October? Is that public?
For you, yeah.
So can I get a copy of that from someone?
Just
So I
come
can
in.
see, does it tell what they do in their inspections?
So you want,
A copy
Copy.
of the results of the inspection from October,
okay.
where they told them they did a good job, or they passed their inspections.
And I'll tell you how many they had condemned or whatever. Yes, I can do that.
Thank you.
Does she have to come in and fill out the form, Tom?
We should get something signed, but we could start looking for it.
Okay. Okay.
Walter Mel. And I got just one question, and I'm still back to that grow house again. Has the building inspector inspected that to see if that is electrical, the water hookup, everything that they need to grow marijuana with is up to code there?
Mr. Krug or Mr. Tucker, I would say that any electrical or plumbing has to be done by the state. And then he had, now, I'm telling you, I do not know. But when they get that permit or that growing card or whatever it is, Walt, the state would check that. But now, these two would know more than I would. in
Well, can't the
regards to that.
township at least check that out, or was that,
don't
does
check.
that have to go to the state?
I believe
Because
that
it's
goes
still
through
in,
the
it's still
state.
in the Fenton Township area. And I just want to know if it's up to code, because if that catches on fire, we're all going to get high.
I can get that answer for you. Well, go ahead,
Well,
Mr.
the-
Now,
I have another question
Wait,
too.
let Mr.
Okay,
Krug
go ahead.
answer.
Sorry.
In regards to the grow house, it was reported to the Genesee County Sheriff Department. Their drug enforcement group accessed the house. The gentleman that is growing the marijuana is a registered licensed
Caregiver.
grower, caregiver.
We know that it's legal. We just want to know if the building is up to code that is storing, that he's growing that stuff in.
What about the kids around there who's gonna get high from it? You know, that you don't know what's gonna happen to them if that thing goes up.
I don't know, and I would assume that they don't inspect it for water,
But it should
electricity and
needs, it
stuff.
needs to be done. That could be an electrical nightmare right there.
Well, it was way back. It was located because it was reported to us.
Yeah, he's got a
That
license, he's legal,
there
he's got a license, he
Hold-
can do
hold
all
on,
that,
Walt,
but we don't know
wait.
whether it's been inspected or not.
All right,
That's all
well,
I'm
hold
asking.
on just a second, let him finish and then.
We found that it was there. We thought it was, but we proved it when it was pointed out to us of the high electrical use was well beyond what a normal trailer would use. I mean, and the power company said, hey, you might want to check this. Not to the guises that it was a grow house, but there could be a problem. And the dominoes fell.
Does Sam know it's there?
Yes.
I've never talked to Sam
But yes,
personally.
he does.
Do you think he's selling this to any of the kids in the trailer park that are so high and?
No, he can't do that.
According to the FANG unit, he has not been known of selling anything out of the grow house to the kids or people coming to his grow house. And if I understand it, he is able, under his license, to transport a certain amount of it, but in
Annual?
transportation, it cannot be readily
you have the wrong
available to the passengers in the vehicle. All it's gotta be in the trunk
No, I
or.
don't. I'm
But
sorry.
I'll tell you something, a lot of people come out of that trailer park so high, you won't believe it.
But it's not because of that.
Well, you don't know. You got the Genesee County cops in there all the time.
Here again, to the best of my knowledge, and I talked to a lot of you folks and other folks, no one says that he is dealing, I'm saying dealers
Selling.
as the bad connotation out of that trailer.
I hope not.
So is he selling
He's a caregiver.
marijuana from out of that trailer? I mean, I know there's I know
No,
attorneys
from
don't
the
want to
sheriff,
touch
no.
it. I've dealt with it before in one of my properties, and there's a fine line, I get that. But isn't there a law that you cannot conduct a business out of a rental unit? Is there such a law? That you cannot conduct?
Not to the best of my knowledge. When I questioned about selling, I thought we had something going there. I was told that he does not, under the law, the state law, he cannot sell that even to the individuals or his patients.
Okay, so.
But, wait, and here's the caveat, and it's just proves something about our state laws. Is he can't sell it, but they being the people he's growing it for, can legally compensate him for expenses.
Okay. So.
And I say that tongue in cheek, but that's what the law is.
I know. Okay, so the bus stop is right there in front of the trailer. Here's a scenario. I think it was last week, a family got waked out because they had a drug house and they were selling their marijuana out of there. What if those kids are standing there waiting for the bus, some guys come along, want to rip the marijuana out of that trailer, and the kids get shot in crossfire? You know, I just don't get it. I don't understand how it can be allowed to be there, and how the kids can have the bus picking them up right in front of the grow house. It just blows my mind. I think the town or the school needs to be invited to our special meeting.
Didn't you tell the school?
As well, because they need to. Huh?
We haven't go to the school board and bring it up.
No, all I know is one of the residents
How are they gonna do
mentioned.
anything about it unless they know about it?
One of the residents mentioned it and said they called the superintendent about it, and the superintendent said they were being racist, and there's nothing they could do about it. So that was their response.
School board about it.
He's right on that one.
But
They went to
I know the
I don't even
superintendent
know what.
very
school
well,
district is, so.
and that sounds so out of character for him.
I'm just saying
No,
what
I mean
I was
that-
told. But I just don't understand. The bus driver's gotta know it's a grow house. Everybody in town knows it. I know it, and I haven't been here that long. So you can't tell me that the school isn't aware of it. That the bus driver isn't aware of it. That no family has called and complained to the school about it.
Kids talk.
I mean, it's not possible.
There's 4 different schools that go here.
All right. Is there any other comments in regards to the park that you'd like to make? Yes, Mr. Holcroft.
Just one comment. This is a new issue on the trailer park now. But a few minutes ago, you were mentioning about condemned. And it's been a while, I want to say 3 or 4 years. There was a big ballyhoo, somewhat similar to this, but it wasn't a grow house. It concerned the trailer park. And you and Bob, and I think probably Mr. Cooley, maybe a couple others, were instrumental on investigating it, chasing it around. And they got some of the trailers condemned. And my understanding was at that time that there were about 5 removed. The people that owned them, there were 3 or 4 others that were questionable. They fixed theirs up to the point
They brought it right
where they were acceptable. My question here and now is, how many are condemned at this point, right, as we
At this
speak
point,
here?
right now, until we have that inspection, none. But I probably will say there will be some when we go in on the inspection. But as of right now, no, Dave. The ones that was condemned, just like you said, have been removed. But now now we have this year and we gotta go back in. If they are condemned, they're going out, no doubt about it. And we oversee that.
Well, I know it happened before. It needs to happen again, about 30 strong.
30?
50.
All right.
30 would be a hell of a good guy.
50.
All right, Mrs. Garfield.
Just one more quick question. When you go in and you inspect them and you give him X number of days to repair or fix whatever, because I had some folks from the trailer park call me, and I want to know, do you follow up and see that the repairs are done by licensed people? Because they are telling me that when he brings people in there to make their repairs, that he uses his buddies and whoever. And this one particular woman told me that she has black mold in her house, that she at night goes into her bedroom, turns her lights on, and the lights are on fine for a few minutes, and then they start flickering, and then she has no lights in her bedroom the rest of the night. And that anytime the guy comes out and makes repairs, they're never licensed people.
If the township has anything to do with it, absolutely, they're licensed.
But you do have something to do with it. You're doing the inspection, so
If
my question
they're the
is...
ones, Mrs. Garfield, if they're the ones that we say are condemned, but they have, now, some are absolutely, totally condemned, that there's no way of fixing anything. But when, just like you said, if an electrician comes in, he's state certified, absolutely, if we're telling them that they have to bring it up to code. Yes.
Okay, but you're telling me that you do make some of those inspections. You go into, because Tom said no, so as of last October, you didn't go in and do any in anybody's houses, according to Tom.
You know, I've got to read the report, just like Annette said.
Okay.
I've got to read it.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that you're aware that they're saying that every Dick, Tom, and Harry is coming in there and making their repairs. They're not licensed people.
No, we wouldn't, if we knew it, we'd stop it, absolutely. But we don't know that in other people's homes either. If somebody is, their best friend is coming in and doing electrical, unless somebody notifies us, or the state. But just to let you know. Pardon me?
Right? These people are afraid, you know that, right? I've talked to a whole bunch of them now. They're afraid up there.
These people, okay,
They ought to be.
all right, is there anyone else in regards to this? And then Annette, will you give me your phone number? Sure. And I just want you, being that you don't know what has gone on, but let me just tell you one thing.
Research, so.
When you talk about this grow house,
Yeah.
I found the grow house because I walk through the park. I drive my car. I wondered why a trailer had the white things covering the windows. That was a red flag to me. Came back to my code enforcement officer, said, you know, Bob, there's something wrong with that. It's painted pink, now it's kind of faded, but it was bright pink. I said, the windows are barricaded, there's no cars parked around it. Mr. Atkinson, our code enforcement officer, went out. There had to be, it was a very, very, very windy day. That trailer is padlocked, but for some reason the padlock was not in. It was padlocked, but the door didn't lock. Mr. Atkinson called me and said, Bonnie, you will not believe what I have found. And he told me, and he was taking pictures, and I said, get out of there now, just get out of there. We called the sheriff, they called Fang. Fang went in within a matter of a few days. None of the people, you know, we don't advertise all this, we don't. But by God, you people do see, I mean, if you don't see me there, I am there. I walk it, I know the people by their first names. I talk to Sam. I'm working right now with a developer, but you know, to possibly look at this piece of property. But I can't tell everything that I do. But I don't want credit for anything. But by God, it wasn't just people walking through that day that made that park clean. It was Tom Hosey. Tom Hosey has been out there on a regular basis. When Tom Hosey walks those woods, I will walk with him. Because I don't want mattresses out there. I don't want all the different things that are happening. And we will continue, and we're hitting them. But now we got people that back us. Makes a difference. And like Mr. Ketzler said, I personally have not called the school Mr. Krug knows this, well, we all know the superintendent. Mr. Ketzler said, and I think somebody else, go to the Board of Education. Help us out and go and express your feelings for your children. Now, it isn't the school bus garage. They're hired, they're contracted. So it's not the same bus drivers that we used to have when we were kids, that they knew you and everything like that. These are people that come do their job and that's it. I know of, I was there, I sit right there, watch the bus stop. 4 buses came to drop children off. So I don't know, I just wish to God you'd go to the Board of Education.
I have no problem doing that.
I think it
I need to
at
know
least,
what school district it is.
But don't think we're not concerned. You know, we're concerned. I don't know how many times these board members go to that park. I know how many times I go to that park.
I drive by it every day, Bonnie.
Yep.
It's sad.
It's sad.
There's people living in
sad.
that kind of situation.
And the
so
little
that's
children.
why we're here.
Yep.
We're here because we like something.
And you brought it aware to most of the board members also. But I do want you to, instead of, Mr. Hosey is doing an unbelievable job, and he is getting it cleaned up. But it's going to take time, and I know the lady's laughing right now, but it does take time. Our attorneys will tell us, we call in, we'll say to the attorney, how much power do I have to do this? They inform us. We call the MTA, we call the Modular Home Association. They tell us what we can do. We only have so many ordinances. Now, do more ordinances have to be made? Yeah, probably they do. But where do we get started? And that's what our other boards are for.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're taking us seriously and that you guys
I've taken
are
you
interested
seriously
in doing
for
something about it.
13 years. That's how long, just to get the few out of there. That's how long.
That's a shame.
It's a dirty shame. All right, is there anyone else? And Gary, I'll have the assessor go after all the easements, because lakes have easements all over. People don't know them, just so you'll know. How close do you live to that one easement?
3 houses away.
3 houses away by the, are you on the south side of the park?
North side?
The north side?
Yeah.
You're by the parking lot?
The house next to the trailer park that's owned by the trailer park?
Yeah, the brick house, yeah.
I'm the 3rd house past that.
But you're on the lake?
Yes, and I have a back lot, and that's my concern.
Okay, all right. I believe, excuse my voice, that would be considered keyhole, right, John? And Bob?
It would, but
back lot.
it's in the zoning ordinance, so there's an age and grandfathering issue that goes along with that. If what you said is true, and there's a valid easement, somebody's obstructing it, you need to take action. The time period you're talking about is 15 years. So
probably
you don't have to do it tomorrow, but if you leave someone where they're interfering with the right to use an easement, assume it's an egress easement, and they fence it off, 15 years, your easement is gone. Okay? So, but you can go to court, you can get an injunction if they're interfering with lawful easement rights.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'll try to get you some of these other answers for our next meeting when you come.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming. I will say good evening. The meeting is adjourned.
Well, Jack, change your mind?